Welcome to Agriculture Central. Ever wondered what it takes to keep a worm farm thriving? From juicy fruits to coffee grounds, these wriggly recyclers have a palate you won't believe. But there's more to it than just tossing in your kitchen scraps. Join me as we delve into the secrets of feeding worms for optimal health and productivity. Stick around to uncover the do's and don'ts of worm cuisine. Trust me, you won't look at your leftovers the same way again. Upon establishing a worm farm, it is imperative to furnish your worms with suitable nourishment to ensure their prosperity and well-being. Worms have a diverse diet, encompassing fruits, vegetables, eggshells, coffee grounds, leaves, grass clippings, paper, and cardboard. Nonetheless, there are certain food items that are best avoided, such as meat, grains, and dairy products. Monitor your worms closely to discern their preferred food choices and the pace at which they consume the provided sustenance. Offer your worms fruit and vegetable remnants. Worms relish a medley of fruits and veggies, including bananas, pumpkin, apples, lettuces, eggplant, berries, squash, and greens. However, refrain from feeding them citrus fruits like oranges, limes, lemons, and grapefruits. You can also incorporate leftovers from your juicer, provided they do not contain citrus fruits. Coffee grounds serve as an excellent supplement to a worm bin. Due to their nitrogen-rich composition and neutral pH, eggshells are equally advantageous as they supply calcium to your worms. Ensure that the eggshells are devoid of fats, such as cooking oil or butter, before offering them to your worms. Integrate hair, dust, wood ash, and sawdust. Pet and human hair, along with dust akin to that accumulated in a vacuum cleaner, can be introduced into the worm bin. Wood ash sourced from a fireplace or smoker, as well as sawdust from untreated wood, can also be included. Furnish organic material for bedding, leaves, grass clippings, black peat, coconut coir, shredded egg cartons, paper, tissues, paper towels, and cardboard are all commendable choices for organic bedding that will decompose and serve as a nutrient source for your worms. Ensure to moisten cardboard and paper before incorporating them into the worm bin to initiate the decomposition process. Meat, such as beef, pork, and chicken, as well as bones and dairy products like milk, cheese, and yogurt, are unsuitable for worm consumption. Grains like bread, cereal, and pasta should also be withheld from worms. Furthermore, oils such as olive or coconut oil and oil-based dressings are not conducive as worm sustenance. Food items containing preservatives, like packaged snacks and desserts, example chips and cookies, are detrimental to your worms. Beverages with preservatives, including soda, should not be introduced into the worm bin. Salty and spicy foods like French fries, pretzels, nuts, peppers, onions, chilies, and garlic should likewise be avoided. Both green and brown foods are essential for worms. Green foods, such as lawn clippings or food scraps, are rich in nitrogen, while brown foods like paper, cardboard, and sawdust provide ample carbon. It is advisable to provide equal proportions of these food types. Feeding worms. Appropriately serve room temperature food to your worms. You may opt to freeze or microwave scraps to expedite their breakdown. However, allow these foods to reach room temperature before feeding them to your worms. Dice food into small fragments. Increased surface area exposed to bacteria accelerates the decomposition process of food items. You can amalgamate scraps and blend them in a blender to form a slurry. Refrain from depositing large food chunks, example, half or whole pumpkins, into the worm bin. Position the food within the worm bin. Once your food or scraps are prepared for inclusion in the worm bin, remove the covering of newspaper or burlap. Situate the food on the feeding tray or within the bin, avoiding burial in the worm castings. Endeavor to place the food in different locations each time you feed your worms. Envelop the food with shredded newspaper. Shredded newspaper or burlap should constantly veil the food to maintain a dark and moist bin environment, deterring fruit flies. Always replace the covering post-feeding and introduce new materials if the top layer begins to deteriorate or become mushy. There is no fixed feeding timetable for worms, hence it is essential to monitor their consumption rate and habits diligently. Inspect the worm bin daily to ascertain the duration it takes for them to consume the provided food. When most of the food is depleted, replenish their supply. However, if remnants persist in the bin and the worms exhibit reluctance to consume, refrain from adding more food until the prior scraps are consumed. The requisite food quantity may fluctuate with changing seasons, necessitating frequent observation of your worms' eating patterns. You can opt to feed your worms smaller portions at regular intervals or larger quantities less frequently based on your preferences. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more farming and agriculture-related contents.